In this video, we will be looking at basic shell interaction. Now, the shell's fundamental function, if you will, is to provide an interactive session where you type commands and then things happen. The shell, bash in this case, the case we're using in this class, gives us a prompt, and it is now sitting here. What you see on my screen is a prompt, and it's waiting for me to do something. So, for example, I can type date and hit return, and it responds back with the date and time in my time zone. Every command ends with a carriage return. The shell works one line at a time. When it gets a line of input, in this case when I hit carriage return, the shell then looks at that line and decides what needs to happen and then takes that action. Commands maybe don't have any arguments to them, but they can also have arguments. The date command can work either way. So for instance, if I say date plus %Y, that tells the date command, tell me the current 4-digit year. So there are a variety of options to the date command. Date plus, the plus is telling it that I want it to use a particular format, and then %sign and a letter. These are different formats in the date. Here is the day, month, and year in my local representation, which, since I'm in the United States, is month, day, and year, 2-digit year. There's just a lot of different options to the date command. Side note with the date command, this is shown with %s. This is the actual internal representation that Linux uses for the current date and time. What Linux uses is the number of seconds since January 1st, 1970. If you have always wanted to know how many seconds have there been since January 1st, 1970, now you know. There are a number of other options with the date command, and this is not a video about the date command and all the options with it. What we're really showing is different things can be typed on the command line, different things happen as a result of those, and a single command can be rather flexible in what it does. So one command with different arguments can give me very different results. But even so, it's typical for a command in Linux to do only one thing. This is sort of a Unix and Linux philosophy, is that a single command should do a single thing. And then we can combine multiple commands together if we want to do something more complex, sort of like building blocks. So, for example, the date command deals with date and time. And in fact, with the right privileges and the right options, it can set the date and time on the computer. The date command does not deal with file permissions and file ownership. In fact, those are actually two different commands in Linux, and we'll see those later. File ownership is one command, and file permissions is controlled by another command. So that's the basic idea of the command line. We type commands, we get a result back.